These are the games I've spent over 100 hours on. The ones that kept me hooked for days, weeks, and even months. I couldn't stop thinking about them, and I didn't want to. Let's get into it. At number 10, Persona 5 Royal. This wasn't just a game, it was a whole second life. I planned out my daily routine like I was prepping for finals. Study on Mondays, hang out with Ruji on Wednesdays, infiltrate palaces on weekends. Every decision felt like it mattered. Every character felt like someone I actually knew. And that soundtrack, still living rent-free in my head. I didn't mean to fall this deep, but by the time I was fusing personas like a mad scientist and maxing out confidence like a social butterfly, I knew this game had me. Completely. And it's not just the mechanics that pull you in, it's the emotion. I remember reaching the third semester in Royal and just sitting there feeling things I didn't expect to feel in a turn-based JRPG. Some of the character arcs hit harder than most TV shows. It's stylish, yeah, but beneath the flash is a story about fighting back against a world that tries to break you. That resonated with me, and it's why, even after 100 hours, I didn't want it to end. At number 9, Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain. This one didn't pull me in with story right away, it got me with freedom. Each mission was a puzzle, and every single approach felt valid. Sneak in, go loud, call in D-Dog, or quiet, drop airstrikes, or Fulton everyone back to base. It was chaos, but it was my chaos. And it never got old. I spent hours perfecting silent runs, building mother base, collecting gear, and just messing around with mechanics. What really surprised me was how much time I spent just planning. Like sitting at the chopper menu, staring at the loadout screen, trying to figure out the most efficient way to complete an objective. It was like tactical therapy. And over time, I started to feel the quiet sadness underneath the surface. The story doesn't beat you over the head with it, but it lingers. Phantom Pain is a game about loss, about building something out of the ashes, and about fighting battles you don't fully understand anymore. It sticks with you. At number 8, The Elder Scrolls V, Skyrim. I don't even know how many lives I've lived in Skyrim. I've been a noble paladin, a sneaky assassin, a vampire lord, a clueless wanderer who never even touched the main quest. Every playthrough felt like its own story. I tell myself, I'll just explore for a bit, and suddenly I'm deep in a Dwemer ruin collecting cheese wheels for no reason. The freedom is unmatched. Even after all these years, I still remember my first dragon encounter. That roar in the distance, that scramble to pull out a weapon, the feeling of barely surviving. And then the soundtrack kicks in with that iconic choir. Goosebumps. Skyrim has a way of making even the quietest moments feel legendary. I've walked through snow-covered mountains just to listen to the wind. I've read books in-game just for the lore. This game is a world I go back to when I need to remember what real immersion feels like. At number 7, Elden Ring. That game has ever punished me so much while also making me think it. I died more times than I can count. Got lost constantly. Wandered into areas I shouldn't be in. But I couldn't stop. That sense of exploration, the way the world just exists without guiding you. It's addicting. I'd ride toward a tree in the distance and end up in an underground city. I'd fight a boss for 3 days straight, and when I finally won, I felt like a god. There's something special about how From Software builds their worlds. You're not just playing through a level, you're uncovering a mystery. You're piecing together ancient ruins, forgotten gods, and broken kingdoms. Elden Ring never holds your hand, and that's what makes it so rewarding. I spent 100 hours not just getting stronger, but learning how to survive, how to read the world, how to carve my own path. It's hard, it's brutal, and it's unforgettable. At number 6, Metroid Dread. Tight. Tense. Terrifying. This game had me sweating in places I didn't know could sweat. Every MMI encounter turned into a panic sprint, and every boss battle was a test of focus. But the moment it clicked, the moment I learned how to move, counter, and glide through hallways like I owned them, that was it. I replayed this game so many times just to feel that mastery again. It wasn't long like some others on this list, but the time I spent with it was pure, focused obsession. And every time I started over, I got better, faster, more confident. That's what makes Dread special. It teaches you through tension. It doesn't say, here's how to win. It says survive. And when you do, you feel unstoppable. I remember finishing it and immediately starting again, just to push my limits. It's pure design excellence. At number 5, Batman, Arkham Knight. This is the closest I've ever felt to being Batman. Gliding across rooftops, dropping into fights like a storm, driving the Batmobile through neon-lit chaos. It never got old. But beyond the gadgets and action, it was the story that pulled me in. Bruce's mental descent, Joker's ghost, the weight of the cowl. I wasn't just playing a superhero. I was living a tragedy. There's this moment when Batman hesitates, alone, exhausted, doubting himself. And I felt that. After everything, he still kept going. That hit deep. The world is dark, but it's not hopeless. And the city? Gotham is more than just a backdrop. It's a character. I stuck around long after the credits rolled. I needed to be Batman a little longer. At number 4, Hollow Knight. This game felt like a quiet conversation. It never yelled, never explained too much, but it spoke volumes. The silence of Hallownest, the way every corner felt like forgotten history. I got lost constantly, and I loved it. The combat was precise, the boss fights intense, but it was the feeling that got me. This world was sad, broken, beautiful, and the more I played, the more it felt like I was helping something heal, or maybe just witnessing its final breath. The music is haunting, the story is fragile, and the deeper you go, the more the weight of the world settles on you. I played this game because I needed to feel something, and it delivered. Quietly, powerfully, completely. At number 3, Baldur's Gate 3. This game didn't just let me play a role. It let me become someone else. Every conversation, every choice felt like it shaped the world. I argued with companions. I fell in love. I made mistakes and lived with them. And the game didn't hold back. If someone dies, they're gone. If you mess up a role, that's it. But that's what made it powerful. Every success felt earned. Every failure real. I lost hours just talking to my party, walking around camp, thinking about who my character really was. This wasn't just role-playing. It was storytelling at its best. And the moments I had, from shocking betrayals to quiet nights under the stars, felt more personal than anything I've played before. 100 hours barely scratched the surface. At number 2, The Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild. This game didn't need to rush me. It let me breathe, let me wonder, let me climb mountains just to see the view. I'd set off for a quest and spend the next 5 hours getting distracted by a dragon in the sky or a Korok puzzle in the woods. And I love that. It made me slow down, made me appreciate the little things. A meal cooked perfectly, a shrine discovered in the snow, a thunderstorm rolling in while I stood on a cliff. There was one moment, just me, Link, a horse, and a blood moon rising over Hyrule Field. Nothing happened, but meant something. This game didn't just give me a world to explore. It gave me space to exist. And sometimes, that's all I needed. At number 1, The Witcher 3, Wild Hunt. This game isn't just number 1 because of how long I played it. It's number 1 because of how I played it. Slowly, intentionally, with my heart wide open. Every choice felt like a moral test. Every quest had weight. Even the smallest stories hit hard. A missing child, a cursed tree, a broken family. Geralt wasn't just a character. He was a mirror. And by the end of the game, I felt like I knew him, cared about him, wanted him to find peace. I explored every inch of that world. Played one like it was my job. Lost myself in the DLCs. And when it finally ended, I sat there in silence. Just thinking, remembering, grateful. The Witcher 3 didn't just take my time. It gave me stories I'll carry forever. These weren't just games I played. They were worlds I lived in. Stories I carried with me. If you've ever given a game over 100 hours of your life, you know it's not just about time. It's about connection, escape, meaning. Let me know which game stole your hours. And if you felt this list, drop a like, hit subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.